I'm Justin Davis, and this is Joe Camp's RC. All right, guys, welcome back to the field. I have another FlyEgg here to review for you today. This is the larger big brother to the 136 that I reviewed yesterday on the channel, and I'm happy to bring another FlyEgg to you for a review because these things really fly super awesome, and this will be kind of like a competitor to the Gep Sparrow and the HGLRC, the 3-inch version they had that came out of the XJB. This is running Kingkong motors. They are Sunny Sky brand motors, and they're 1406 3600 kV, and we're running some 3-inch props on here. So if you're looking for a quad out there with 3-inch props that's going to have a nice performance, pretty thick bottom plate frame here, and aluminum sidewalls, which everyone likes because the carbon sidewalls seem to break on some other models. So this is kind of a nice sturdy frame. And today I'm running a 4S 850 milliamp battery on the bottom of this, and I'll try to put some links below for some better batteries than this one, but it should fly really nice because these 1406 motors, they actually perform really well, and I've had them on other setups similar to this one, but this one also has a RunCam style camera, and I have a feeling that this is the Furibee RunCam clone, that one that I've posted for you guys before, but I'll try to put a link to that one down below because there's no branding on the back of it that says RunCam or on the bottom or the top of the camera frame, so I'm pretty sure that's the Furibee one. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and put this one on the ground. Let's get it up in the air and do a line of sight flight test for you. And then I'll do some FPV for you to show you how the quad performs on the stock settings. I did turn my super rates up to 75, so if you're wondering about that, that's what my super rates are set to. But everything looks good, and I'm ready for takeoff. Here we go. All right, this is a maiden flight, so wish us luck. Here we go. All right, it seems pretty peppy. That's kind of what I was expecting for these motors. Sunny Sky motors are pretty nice. Feels good on the tune. Just gonna make some runs back and forth here. Go up, do a little roll there. Still punch out. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, that's really nice. That's what I'm looking for. Sounds very, very authoritative. Authoritative, that's whatever that word is there. Here we go, come back. Yeah, so this power system sounds really, really smooth. The props sound good. I don't hear any vibrations in the tune at all. And that's what you're kind of looking for. If you're gonna buy a quad that's a bind and fly, you want it to fly nice. When you get your receiver bound up to your radio, you don't want to have a lot of troubles with having to PID tune something and get it going, but this one seems like it's gonna do really, really well, as long as I don't break it or tear something up right away. Sometimes I get a little carried away on the throttle, as you guys have seen before, and I end up hitting things because I get super excited flying something for the first time that has a really nice feel to it, but it feels really locked in, and I'm excited about this. So let's go ahead and put this one on the ground. Let's get this FlyEgg Pro up in the air and do a little FPV with it. Feels really nice. I'm impressed so far. So we'll see how it flies. Here we go.
If they say, who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? 'cause you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. They say, who cares if one more light goes out in the sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, or quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? I
All right, guys, there it is. We're back from the field. Let's go ahead and get this review started. And I usually show you guys a flight test and my flying footage first, mainly because I never talk about a quadcopter on the bench until I've actually flown it and spent some time with it, so I can give you a proper opinion on the components on that quadcopter and some comments on how it flies, just to do it properly. So this is the new Kingkong FlyEgg Pro. It's a 138 millimeter frame and it's running 3-inch props. You do get 11 sets of props in this box, which is super awesome, and you get a 3S tattoo battery. That's an 850 milliamp in there with an XT30 already on there, and the quad itself has an XT30 on it as well, which is super nice. But it's also branded as their new brand, LDARC, since late last year, and everything still seems to have the Kingkong label on it. I'm not 100% sure why, but it's still there, so we're going to call it a Kingkong, because in the past I've had really good luck with Kingkong quadcopters. The Tiny 6, some of the other ones that are super popular was the GT series, and now we're moving into the FlyEgg series, and all of them have been super popular. I flew the 136 yesterday, and hopefully GearBest gets their website updated and makes sure that that is the proper version on there. Right now it says 130 on there, but I think they're going to update it in the next day or two. So whether you want to get that one with the smaller power system setup and 2.8-inch props, or you want to get this 3-inch version, either one of them fly absolutely awesome. So very good flight characteristics and a quad that you can definitely get into and fly. I really had a lot of fun with this one today, and I actually kind of wish I had more batteries to fly it more, because the performance on the flight controller, it seems like it was pre-factory tuned, but we do have an Omnibus F4 flight controller on this setup and 20 amp 4-in-1 ESCs. So a very nice setup on here, and I'm going to show you some close-ups of the quad now. I'm just going to go ahead and take it out of the box real quick for you. So I gotta say, they did the box right on this one. This one's super awesome. It has 2 latches here. It has a carrying handle to carry to the field, and you have plenty of storage space in here. And this quad actually fits in there with the props on. Kind of had to smash down my antennas a little bit, my zip-tied antennas there, but they also include plenty of space for extra batteries, which is really, really nice. And you have more storage underneath the quad right here. So if you want to put props, that's where all your props and accessories for the quad can go. Now, I was pretty happy that they included a nice tattoo battery on here in this kit, 850 milliamp 45C. This battery runs pretty good. You can run 3S or 4S on this quad. I would recommend, if you really want a lot of boost and a lot of power out of this system, I would probably run 4S. And I'll try to put a link down below for the 3S guys. If you want to start out with 3S, if you're a new person flying FPV, start out on 3S. Maybe only get a couple 3S batteries, because once you fly 4S, you're not going to want to fly your 3S batteries anymore. This is a good starter battery, but I would move up to 4S. That's going to be highly recommended for this setup. Now, we'll go ahead and pull out the quad, and I'll show you what else comes in the box. You get 11 sets of props with this quadcopter kit, which is actually really, really liberal. They're very comparable to the Gem Fan flash props. I believe that's the ones that are the 3-inch, but very, very nice because they give you 3 different colors. You get clear, white, and sort of a neon yellow. And these are 30/50. So there's 10 pairs in these 2 bags right here, right turn and left turn here. And they give you a set already on the quadcopter. So all I had to really do was solder up my receiver, and they give you a receiver wire that plugs into the very back of the flight controller right here. This is the receiver wire, and they give you 2 of them in the box, which is super cool. So they are color labeled, and they have a sticker on here that tells you which one is which. So black for ground, the yellow one is going to be your RCN, and that's normally going to be your S-Bus wire. Green is going to be 3-volt for DSM guys, and then red is going to be your 5-volt source. And you also get some extra accessories. You get 2 extra rubber bands for holding your batteries on the bottom of the quad, and you get some black zip ties. Now this is super nice because these are the thin zip ties. They're kind of hard to find at Home Depot or other places, but you can go ahead and use a couple of these to bring your antennas up and out the top of the quad. And you also get a little piece of sticky back tape in here as well. Let me just set this box to the side so we can show you this FlyEgg Pro manual that comes along with it. Now, this is where I was pretty impressed. This manual seems to cover just about everything that we need for setting up this quad, with the exception of the ports tabs. And if you're looking for the right UART in the ports tab inside Betaflight, that's going to be UART 6 all the way at the bottom for S-Bus setup. And make sure you have Serial RX enabled as well. But let's go ahead and open up this little pamphlet here. It shows you a picture of the quad. It gives you all the specs here. This is really important right here. It shows you a schematic of the flight controller. This is the Omnibus S4 F4 in here, and it shows you where the DSMX slot is. It shows you where the S-Bus and PPM is for adding your receiver wire, that receiver wire that I just showed you guys before. And I used one of these out of the pack to set up my XM Plus there. But everything's set up pretty much to the spec, and I don't think there should be any confusion in there. The only thing about mine is that where the buzzer is hooked up, it didn't seem that like my buzzer was working correctly. Now I did have a lost model alarm on it, so if I did lose it out in the field, I would probably hear it start beeping after a minute or 2. So no big deal there. You can set that up in Betaflight, but the buzzer is located right on the bottom of the quad, right where it is on the 136 model. Now also in the manual, they give you a setup guide for hooking up your Taranis X9D or other types of FrSky, FreeSky radios to an XM Plus. It shows you the wire configuration here, which is super nice, and the protocol inside your radio to set it to. A lot of times receivers are either going to be D8 or D16, and this one happens to be a D16 that I'm running, so it's the exact same setup as this right here. And also at the very bottom, they give you information for FlySky setup in here. They give you information for Futaba receivers, and they give you information for setting up your DSM2 or DSMX receivers if you're running a Spectrum transmitter. And the last page in this pamphlet is really nice because it does show you some Betaflight firmware information. If you decide you want to upgrade this firmware that's on here, you probably don't have to right now because it does have the latest, well, almost the latest for Betaflight firmware on there at 3.2. You can probably leave that on there and fly it just like it is. If you flash it, it's going to reset all of these settings in here. So it does have your original PID settings in here for proportional, integral, and derivative settings on the PIDs. You can use this information right here at the bottom here and go back and add it to the 3.3. If you upgrade to Betaflight 3.3, they do have your stock PID set right here, so it should fly just as good as the original Betaflight firmware that came on it. But if you're trying to flash this, it's going to be the Omnibus F4 SD protocol. So that's what you want to target the board with when you go to flash your flight controller. So let's go ahead and take a look at this quad a little closer up. And I gotta say, these FlyEgg quads, they're really gorgeous looking quadcopters. You see the 136 back here with the smaller ESC stack on here and the Pico BLX flight controller. Kind of strange that they have different flight controllers on here, but this one is also running 20 amp ESCs and this one is running a 10 amp ESC, but you only have 1104 motors on this one, whereas this one you have the Sunny Sky branded Kingkong RC motors on here. They're running 1406 and those are actually going to be 3600 kV, so pretty high kV motors and really high RPM on those at the top end, so a very punchy motor, and they feel really great on 4S. So like I said, I'm going to recommend 4S on this one. You can only fly this one up to 3S, by the way, and I did a review on this one yesterday. You can go back in the channel and check this one out. This one flies a lot different than this one. This one might fly closer to a 5-inch. I know some people said that they think 2.8-inch props fly a lot like 5-inch, but this one flies a little lighter and a little lighter feeling. It has way more float in this one versus this one. So this one is just extremely fast compared to this one, a lot more speed and a lot more power for boosting out of those. When you come around in a big roll and come back down close to the ground, I have all the control I need with these motors. And oh yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the FlyEgg Pro camera right here. This is a 1/3 CCD camera and it's running 600 TVL on here, almost exactly the same as the RunCam, and I felt like this looked really extremely sharp and extremely vivid on the colors today. I was really impressed with this camera. As soon as I fired it up, I really felt like I could see everything. Darkness and light contrast going close to the ground and coming back up in the air looked absolutely perfect. Sometimes if you have a really bad camera on an FPV racer, when you go down close to the ground you can see everything, but then when you come up above the tree line you can't see anything on the ground, and that would be kind of an example of a bad camera for an FPV racer. But this one actually works really well, and I'm gonna recommend that you grab one of those. If you had another racer that was small enough like this to accommodate, you can even put these on 5-inch racers. I would definitely recommend one of these, and I'll try to put the link below for this particular camera if you'd like to see this on a different quad of yours. And the VTX, if you were wondering where it was, why I have so much room on top, is because they actually put it down here, and this is totally fine for where it's at. I might move it later if I wanted to accommodate a capacitor in here, maybe move it up top, but you do have plenty of room to move it up here if you wanted to. But I would say that this probably needs to be heat shrinked. It's not heat shrinked in here, and that concerned me at first, but the way they have it mounted in here, it's not going to touch anything metal or carbon, because they do have zip ties on both sides of it that sort of block it from touching anything. So it looks like the placement is going to be okay for this particular setup. So I'm going to go ahead and weigh it for you guys. Turn on the scale there. I'm going to give you a dry weight first, and then I'll weigh it with the battery that came with it. So the dry weight right there is 136.2 grams with the props on and everything else. Now let's weigh it with the 3S 850 that came with it, and we'll see what we get. 140.3.4, not bad. 140.4 grams. Now with the 850, this is what I would recommend flying it on, is the 4S 850. I wouldn't even really play around with anything less than this type of battery. Let me scooch this over just a little bit here and make sure it gets on the scale and see what we get there. So 222.3 grams. Not bad for a total takeoff weight with a 3-inch quad. It's pretty light. So overall, I'm really super happy with this quadcopter. I think it flew awesome. I might even actually have to keep this quad for myself, because it flies so awesome on the stock PID settings, and it freestyles really well. So if you're looking for a 3-inch quad that's going to actually have a nice smooth tune, no vibration in the camera right out of the box, and already has Betaflight 3.2 on there, and OSD, all that good stuff. It has a beeper. It has this dipole antenna coming out the back. You already have LEDs. You have your XT30 there, and you have really good, nice flying Sunny Sky motors on here. So, and
an absolutely spectacular camera. So I'm gonna have to rate this one 4.5 out of 5. This is definitely one of my favorites in the last couple months. I really like this quad a lot. The only thing I would like to see different on this quad is that they use a sort of standard sort of Velcro strap on there instead of the rubber band. I think the rubber band is kind of chintzy, and honestly I would probably remove this foam right here and put a nice flat level piece of some type of, and I don't know if there's a way to do that because you don't really want to hinder your airflow through here. You want to keep this open back here. Maybe it's going to be kind of a conundrum there to be able to put something over that, but your battery goes over it anyway, so it's blocking a lot of the airflow unless you get airflow from through here and coming through there, and that's probably the case. It looks like there is some space through there. There's a hole there going where the camera is, so and out the back, so you get a continuous airflow through there. So yeah, no big problem. You could take this foam off and put sort of a piece of Velcro over top of that to keep your battery secure, because a lot of times, you know what, rubber bands, they just have batteries fly off the bottom of the quad because there's nothing holding it here at all except for a little bit of gravity and the rubber band. And I feel like this rubber band is probably going to break on you at some point, and that might be causing some damage to your quad, so I always recommend Velcro. But anyway guys, I really appreciate you watching this review and checking out the new Kingkong 138 Pro. It's a Pro series and it definitely lives up to its name. It is definitely a quad to look out for. So thanks again guys for watching my channel and subscribing over the years. I appreciate you going out to the field with me every day to fly new quads and see what the latest and greatest gear is coming out of the FPV hobby and the community. It's really some cool stuff coming. I have like 35 boxes here for new reviews for you guys, so tons and tons of stuff is coming in for spring, and I just got 4 new boxes today, so I'm opening up boxes like a wild man for you guys, and I'm going to be out flying every single day with you guys, so I appreciate that. And if you're out of the field, hey, someone needs help, get them into the hobby, make sure you do help others. As always, that's my motto here on the Drone Camps channel, guys. Thanks again for hanging out. I'm Justin Davis. I will see you on the next one. Take care.